The football season's nearly over. Most of us have probably long since completed the journey in FIFA 17, and today I'm going to be talking about 10 things that I personally love to see in FIFA 18 the journey. What would you like to see though? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. It's always interesting to hear what you've got to say, and if you want to hear more of what I've got to say, make sure you're subscribed. And if you do go on to enjoy this video, smash that like button as well. Let's get into it though, and let's take a look at the 10 things I want to see in FIFA 18 the journey. More leagues. In FIFA 17, the journey only allowed you to sign for a Premier League team. There was some slight variety in that you got loaned out to a Championship team in the form of Aston Villa, Newcastle or Norwich. There was no possibility whatsoever of continuing your journey elsewhere though, or moving on to play in another country. For FIFA 18 then, I'm sure that most of us would like a little bit more variety in this department. Maybe with the ability to play somewhere like Germany or Spain. If the Chinese Super League gets added as well, then maybe in FIFA 18, Alex Hunter could be the next major star to move to China. It could be a cool way to announce the inclusion of the Chinese Super League, and personally, I'd definitely like to strut my stuff in China with Hunter. The journey was a nice new offline game mode to experience in FIFA 17, but by focusing purely on the English league system, it was also very limited. So the addition of further leagues to the game mode would provide it with a bit more life, excitement and longevity. And as I touched upon in that first point, part of the storyline in FIFA 17 the journey was that you got sent out on loan. Your club made a major signing, and that makes sense if you're playing for a big team. Major signings are pretty much a guarantee in that case, and it's understandable that you'd therefore be sent out on loan. When you're playing for a side slightly lower down the table though, first team football should be easier to come by, and it would be nice if the storylines reflected what club you were at. I remember hearing about someone that selected Middlesbrough as their team for the journey, thinking that if they chose that team then they'd have a slightly easier route into the first team, only to be slightly shocked and confused when Middlesbrough brought in Harry Kane a couple of games into the season. As the journey was only introduced for FIFA 17, it makes sense that the storylines maybe weren't as elaborate as they could have been. So for FIFA 18 there is definitely hope that they'll be a lot less linear. If we do end up receiving slightly different storylines depending on what side you pick, that would definitely be massively appreciated. Somewhat disappointing in FIFA 17 was the fact that there was no opportunity whatsoever for player customization in the journey. It's difficult to take your promising young player quite so seriously when you've just seen them appear in the Doctor Who Christmas special. It would be a nice touch for FIFA 18 if there was some sort of customization available with Hunter. In terms of dialogue, it maybe makes sense if everyone has to have Hunter set as a nickname, but if you have the ability to change your look, your kit name and stuff like that, that would definitely help provide for a more immersive experience. You could give yourself a new haircut, maybe a few tattoos, just spruce it up a bit and make sure that you didn't have the exact same player as everyone else has. Maybe you could even change your nationality as well. Not everyone playing the game is going to be English, so if there was the possibility to alter this, then this could help make the game mode more relatable for more people. And building upon that last point about the possibility of choosing your nationality, the road to Russia could be a significant focus for the journey in FIFA 18. Based on the way that the game mode finished in FIFA 17, it makes sense that this will indeed be the case for FIFA 18, and your performances throughout the course of the season could help determine whether or not you get to jump on that plane to Russia. Different scenarios could be written into the game mode, such as the possibility of an injury ruling you out of the competition entirely, or whether or not your character has even done enough to make it to the World Cup. The Gareth Walker storyline could continue as well. Maybe there's only enough room in the squad for one of you, and the two of you are battling it out for your place in the squad, with every game counting massively as you look to prove yourselves to the manager. With the World Cup taking place in Russia next summer, it would be absolutely ludicrous for the World Cup not to be a huge focus of the journey in FIFA 18. But for England to be the only option in terms of your nationality would definitely be extremely limiting. Opening this up so that you could select to represent any country as its national side featured in the game would no doubt increase the appeal of the game mode massively. Growing up as a football fan, I'm sure that most people dream of one day taking to the field to represent their country. Playing a video game where you're forced to represent another country at the World Cup though, just isn't quite the same. And it would also be very nice to see storylines altered by press conference responses. Regardless of how you chose to respond to the press conference questions in FIFA 17, the story of the journey was left largely unchanged, and more or less followed the same pathway. You could be incredibly hot-headed or supremely smooth with your responses, but it never really felt like your in-game persona massively mattered. Moving forward into FIFA 18 then, hopefully there will be more scenarios, more twists and turns, and the press conferences will feel more important to your progress, rather than just providing a nice visual distraction. With the World Cup situation for example, maybe if you're too temperamental, you won't get taken to the tournament. If you're reckless, there should be consequences. Now then, the current format of the journey only allows you to play through one season, and that will probably continue to be the case with FIFA 18 as well, with the World Cup likely to be the end point. Keeping it to a one season experience makes sense in a way, as it allows for real life footballing events to be the central focus of that year's journey, as is likely to be the case in FIFA 18 with the World Cup. But if the storyline could stretch out slightly longer, that would definitely give the game mode a bit more bulk and substance. I'm not expecting EA to put together a decade's worth of storylines or anything like that, but if we could at least play through a couple of seasons, that would be brilliant. And I spoke earlier about the addition of further leagues to the journey, and how it would be nice to switch countries altogether and move over to somewhere like Germany or Spain. But if it's not possible to move to another country, maybe you could at least have the option to move to another club within the same league system. If you start out with somewhere like Burnley for instance, maybe you could look to prove yourself there before moving on to somewhere bigger. More than one league system featured in the game is definitely the dream, but changing clubs mid-season, not just on loan but permanently, could be a cool thing to strive for in the game. It could even lead to more people selecting less popular clubs in order to try and push through a move to a bigger club based on merit, rather than simply because that's the team that you chose at the start of the game. And the ability to respond to messages on social media would be absolutely massive, and that could have consequences as well for the storyline. Social media seemed to be a pretty big deal in the journey of FIFA 17, and building up your following was all part of the fun. But whether people were praising you or hating on you, there was no ability to thank them or tell them where to go. Social media is a nice touch and all, but if there's no possibility to interact with your followers, then it all just seems like a bit of an empty gesture. And this might not seem like a big deal for some people, especially if you only really play offline game modes in FIFA. But for me personally, I would definitely like to see better rewards for completing the game mode. When the game first came out, and I found out about that Alex Hunter Ultimate Team card, I wanted that so badly. I wanted to complete the journey basically purely to get that card. When I found out that it would be 75 rated, regardless of how well you did in the game though, that kind of defeated the fun of it for me. Your in-game abilities and performances should impact upon what kind of Hunter card you pick up. Nothing too ridiculous, but if you play well, you should pick up maybe an 80 rated Alex Hunter or something like that. Then at least it would get used a bit more in Ultimate Team. I know that not everyone plays the game mode, but for those that do, it makes the time investment of playing through the journey a lot more rewarding. And I don't just want to see a player journey, I want to see a management journey as well. FIFA career mode is incredibly stale at this point. It's been stagnating for a while, and in FIFA 17 they really did very little to move the game mode forward. The journey has given me renewed hope for the future of career mode, although it also worries me slightly that EA will have a pretty heavy focus on the journey when it comes to offline game modes, and career mode may continue to be neglected. Career mode needs some serious love and care, and if EA could add some form of management journey with storylines and cutscenes, that would be brilliant. You could start out managing Newport County or someone like that down in League 2, prove yourself as a boss, and move on to bigger and better opportunities with larger club sides. You can of course choose to play as the whole team in the journey rather than just as Alex Hunter, but regardless of how you play the game, you're not the manager making the decisions, your job is to develop Alex Hunter. There's a great deal of potential for the journey moving forward though, and I for one would absolutely love to see a management journey included in the game in the future. So those are 10 things that I personally would absolutely love to see in FIFA 18 The Journey. As it's the year of the World Cup, I reckon they're going to do something massive with the game mode this year, and it's going to be a good one. FIFA 17 was the first time they'd ever tried the journey out, and obviously there were a few problems, it wasn't perfect, but it was a decent starting point, and I've got high hopes for the journey in FIFA 18. I would absolutely love to see a management journey. As I said before, I'm more of a manager career mode guy than a my player, single player experience kind of person. So yeah, for me, if they could add a management journey to the game mode in FIFA 18, or in the future in fact, it doesn't have to be in FIFA 18, I just want to see it at some point. Career mode has stagnated a bit in recent years, they've not done much with it. It needs a revamp, to be honest. So yeah, to introduce a management journey would be brilliant. I personally would love that. What would you most like to see though? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you again next time.